Hey guys, and welcome back to EQ Planes, and today we'll be flying Air Canada's Crj-900 from Toronto Pearson to Washington Dulles. I had just gotten off my flight on the Air Canada 737 MAX. We had an almost 5-hour layover in Toronto, however we quickly moved from the domestic section to the US section of the terminal. However, in hindsight, I kind of regret that decision, as the domestic terminal was not only better for plane spotting, but simply had more to do. There was a little bit in the US section, but it wasn't quite like the domestic section. We went to a smaller section of the terminal, which is on ground level, so you get pretty good views of the ramp while you're down there. There's also a burger joint and plenty of places to eat. If you have a long layover in the US section, I highly recommend you move down there for a bit. Here you can see an AN-124, which has been grounded in Toronto due to the ongoing crisis in the Ukraine. After a gate change from where we originally were, down in that other section of the US terminal, we made our way across the US terminal to go spot our aircraft for today. Here's the aircraft that will be bringing us to Washington Dulles today. This is an Air Canada Crj-900. This aircraft is 16 years old and registered Charlie Golf Oscar Juliet Zulu. It used to wear the green Air Canada Jazz colors. I must say I miss those old Air Canada Jazz colors and hope they bring it back on a retro livery someday. So, after a half-hour delay for some passengers being unable to board the aircraft for some reason, we were able to get on. The aircraft has a 2x1 configuration business class and a 2x2 configuration in economy. Today, I'm seated in row 25A, which I must say I would recommend, as not only does it have a wing view, but a little bit of an engine view as well. My first impression of the interior is that, yeah, it's pretty old, but actually really isn't that bad. It's definitely showing its age in some areas, but you do get your own light, your own air nozzle, and I'll talk about the seat more when we're in the air. Anyways, enjoy this taxi and takeoff from Toronto Pearson. First, let's start with the IFE, which is something that typically most CRJs don't have. This is Air Canada's old system that was present on their 767s and A320s, and yeah, it's pretty slow, but at least it's an IFE, which is more than most CRJs have. I must admit, I really enjoy the moving map features on any planes with IFE. Now, let's take a look at the seat. First, let's start with the seat back pocket, where you have a safety cart and air sickness bags. The seat padding was actually really nice on this flight, especially for a regional jet. It was quite comfortable. When taking a look at the tray table was quite large. Unlike the tray tables on the Air Canada 737 MAX, you'd be able to fit a lot of stuff on there, likely eat and drink and use a computer. The legroom was also really decent for a CRJ. I'm 6'1" and I fit in just fine. The recline was also pretty nice. My only real complaint is that the ceilings were a little bit too low, but that's the CRJ, and there's nothing you can really do about that. Now it's time to review the lavatory. The lavatories at the back were broken, but they did have this cool jazz logo on the door. Now what can I say? It was a CRJ lavatory. I quite literally had to bend down and it was also really tight. Would not recommend at all. However, they did come around with drinks and pretzels, which was a nice touch for such a short flight. Here they also have the Clean Care Kit, which is standard with every Air Canada flight currently. If the in-flight entertainment was too slow for you, there was also Air Canada Wi-Fi on board. However, I didn't purchase it for this flight. Now enjoy this landing into Washington Dulles and stick around for my final thoughts. Now, my final thoughts on the aircraft are actually quite positive. There are limitations to it being a CRJ, I'd say mainly headroom. If you're anything over 6 feet, good luck. Despite the interior being pretty dated by now, it was actually quite comfortable. The airplane had IFE, which is almost unheard of on most CRJs, and the seats were actually really quite comfortable. A lot more comfortable than what you would find on an Air Canada 737 MAX. So yeah, in the end it was actually a really good experience. And that's for a CRJ. CRJs are typically known for being pretty crappy aircraft. However, I believe this has got to be one of the best CRJs out there. Maybe up there with United CRJ 550. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and hope to see you guys back next time.